If you're thinking about building raised beds, or if you currently grow in raised beds, you've come to the right place. Now, raised bed gardening has been getting a lot of popularity and a lot of people are building raised beds to garden. However, you must know not to make these mistakes when starting your raised bed garden. So let's get started. Mistake number one, not using the proper building materials to build your raised beds. Now you can use wood, you can use stone blocks, you can even use metal to build your raised beds. Now you can always use redwood. You can use redwood fence pickets or any kind of redwood to build your raised beds. Or you can use Douglas fir as well. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now Lily greets me every day like this. She's a really good dog. Now I've used redwood fence pickets in the past and they can be a little bit expensive with the lumber prices going up. Now I'm using these 2x8 Douglas fir and this is very sturdy and very economical. Now what I do with this Douglas fir is I first burn and scorch all four sides and then I apply raw linseed oil on top of that. Linseed oil is really good at preserving your wood so it does not decay and it also repels pests as well. So if you apply linseed oil on your wood, it will last much longer. Well, I'm building all of these raised beds. I've cut the lumber, I've put them together, and now it's time to fill them up and start growing. Mistake number two, not filling your raised bed with good soil. Now, one of the reasons for having raised bed is that you can add good soil into your raised bed. It can control the quality of your soil in the raised beds as well. So don't just go around and add soil in your garden right next to the raised bed into your raised bed unless you have really good soil. Now, if you have gravel, stone, and other material in your garden soil, don't use it at all. Just fill your raised bed with compost or good garden soil. However, if your garden soil is really good, you can add it into your raised bed. If you have really good soil, you can use 50% or even up to 80% of your native garden soil and use rest of the compost in your raised beds. I have clay soil. It's really good soil, however, it's clay. So it's not that great for growing root vegetables such as carrots and radishes. And it's not that great for growing potatoes either. So I use 50% of my native soil in my raised beds and I use 50% compost. Or I use 50% of my native soil and then I use 40% compost and 10% coconut coir because coconut coir is really good at retaining moisture. Here's a bonus tip. If you're not using your raised beds or you're in between planting, always cover your raised bed with weed block fabric and weigh it down with bricks. This way the weeds won't grow and you won't have to till the soil in your raised beds. This way you can maintain the microbiology in your soil and you won't disturb the earthworms either. Number three, overcrowding your plants. Now since you invested quite a bit of money in your raised beds, you also want to get return out of it. And you might plant too many plants in a very small area. Just planting a lot of plants close together does not mean you'll get maximum production out of that because plants are very competitive. They compete for resources. They need adequate sunlight, water, and fertilization to grow really well and give you a really good production. If the plants are planted too close to each other, they will not do well. So research the variety of plants you are growing and follow proper plant spacing in your garden. Mistake number four, not watering frequently. Now, one of the reasons to have raised beds is to have proper drainage. And raised beds can also make your soil dry out very fast as well. So make sure you're watering frequently and you maintain proper moisture in your raised beds. Now that's where 10% of coconut coir also comes in really handy because it helps to retain moisture. It's also a really good idea to use a moisture meter so you can check the moisture level at different depth intervals in your raised beds and you will know when to water again. Mistake number five, not rotating your crops. Now since we have a limited amount of space in our raised beds, we tend to plant the same type of crops in the same area year after year. And that is not such a great practice because certain type of plants intake certain type of nutrients. For example, peas actually put nitrogen into the soil. Tomatoes and corn take a lot of nitrogen from the soil. Not rotating your crops can cause very specific type of nutrient deficiencies in your soil and can also harbor pests and disease that are related to a specific type of plants as well. So it's a great idea to always rotate your crops, give your soil a break, and give your soil a chance to bounce back so you can have a very healthy soil. Now you do not want to plant your potatoes and tomatoes especially in the same spot year after year because that can lead up to build up a pest disease and also nutrient deficiency as well. No matter if you use raised beds or not, do not forget to mulch. Now I like to use leaf mulch. I gather up all of the fallen leaves in fall, then I keep using it over the period of the year. Leaf mulch is a great source to add organic matter into your soil, also retain moisture in your soil, and worms love leaves as well. Also, do not forget to fertilize. Certain plants have certain fertilization requirements. So research the varieties of plants you're growing and apply proper fertilizers. And always use organic fertilizers. If you want to know more about organic fertilizers, check out the video right here, and I'll see you in another video.